My goodbye letter to marijuana. Wrote July 31st, 2021. Mary Jane, MJ, used to be the friend that took all the pain away. From the first day that I truly felt the euphoria that came from inhaling that little green plant in flames, exhaling the shame and fear I had always felt away. Since the first grade, I had been suffering from guilt and pain that took my innocence too early. I no longer felt worthy and was facing issues that most adults couldn't sustain. I knew from growing up in the church that God would never leave me nor forsake me, but because of my sin, His grace and peace I could no longer obtain. The middle child syndrome, emotional neglect, people pleaser, expected to be perfect, I was now forced to accept, turning me into a wounded codependent, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, just all alone, living most of my life with no pride. I still had big dreams to achieve, of becoming a Hollywood star that would take me so far away from a place that saw nothing special about this talentless face. A few leads in the children plays back in the day, but carried around so much shame and self-hatred that led me to astray. No one believed I could really sing or dance the way I only dreamed I could portray. So I was an easy attack from Satan. Yeah, you know he's always hating. Even though every night before bed I was praying. I made it to high school and me and my friends went with the older guys to drive the Haverdrag. I was only 14 on that monumental day. That would end up changing the wave of my entire brain that had not yet developed fully. I was so desperate to be accepted that I was willing to try anything, and I believed the lie that it was an innocent act of play. Who needed those extra brain cells anyways? All they did was rob and torment me. So I was now hooked on this little green plant that would last until I was 33. Tickets, fights, expelled from school, betrayed, overeating, negatively affecting jobs, school, sleep, progress, motivation, and robberies. But it was the perfect answer whenever I was feeling lonely. I didn't need nobody. Don't even get me started on the money that went up in smoke instead of the blessings. She was there for me through the cheatings, the beatings, sexual assaults, and fiendings, but she always left me still needing more and more until I was broken down to the core. She actually left me feeling more and more lonely, especially after she ran out on me, wearing down on my innocent, healthy body. No more singing, no more talking, only spitting, only coughing. On a downward spiral of self-pity, landed me in treatment, where the weed that eventually wasn't enough for me, I had to rely on predators that brought me the amphetamines. That was truly where I believe, for the first time in my life, I could literally do anything and everything on those amphetamines, and not even have an inkling of shame, guilt, or anything embarrassing was going to stop the over-dopamined me. But after graduating the Puget Sound recovery, I no longer desired the green or amphetamines until one day the devil brought back to me another area of weakness. I was enjoying the success of 3 years clean when I could no longer accept the toxic relationship or the lies, cheating, and unapologetic rejecting that I faced every day by a man who made me give it all away. I even sacrificed my most prized possession, the little sassy life that was the only thing that I truly had left. I put on a facade that I was strong enough to pass the test, but deep down inside I knew I was more of a lover than a fighter. When I laid my head down to rest, I had created a protector that said what Rachel was too afraid to say, and her name was Little Sassy. But even Little Sassy wasn't powerful enough against the green enemy that came as a wolf in sheep's clothing. I knew my body may never be the same, and the damage done to my lungs can never be unsang. But with the grace of God, I now almost celebrate 1 month of sobriety clean. It took me being flat broke, broken down car in Winona, Minnesota, when I knew no one, that gave me the gift that came from no one except the one above, who never left my side through the whole 15-year run. I had nowhere to run. I no longer ran from God because I was no longer a slave to the forbidden tree, hiding my sin with fig weed leaves. I was set free because of the Son If the Son sets me free, I will be free indeed. John 8:36 and 1 Chronicles 28:20. Through the Father, the Son, and the Holy. Thank you for listening to me.